Feeling stuck, like you're just spinning your wheels and not making any progress? Sometimes the only way forward is to just wipe the whole slate clean, and today I'm going to show you how. Hey family, welcome back. I'm Christopher. If you're new here, I've been an entrepreneur since 20, made my first million by 25, and now I share the strategies I wish I had to help you break through mental blocks, unlock abundance, and create a life of freedom and success. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how you can get unstuck, let go of all the clutter that's holding you back, and create a fresh start. Feeling stuck often happens because we're overwhelmed, and that could be by tasks, responsibilities, unfinished projects. Sometimes, man, just life. That existential crisis feeling is real. Could also be due to past mistakes, all that regret or resentment you're feeling. And the problem is that when our mental state is cluttered, it is so hard to see the path forward, and we end up just, like I say, spinning our wheels, not making the progress that we want, and just watching time go by, knowing that we need to be urgent about what we're trying to create, knowing that we need to make progress towards our goals, but feeling like we're not doing that. And that is so fucking painful. A lot of times I notice with people like us, the really driven people, is that we either get overwhelmed because we're so zoomed out, like we're focused on these big goals or the future, and that can just be like this crushing pressure, and everything feels so out of reach that we don't really know how to get there. Like we believe we can see the vision, but the dominoes to make that happen seem so far out of reach, and that feeling is really challenging. Like I say, it's overwhelming. Or we're so zoomed in, we're so overwhelmed by everything around us. We're in the weeds, so to speak. All of the tasks that we have, all of the things that need to get done or that didn't get done, not even counting the distractions in today's society, constantly having our phone go off, text messages, notifications, videos, all sorts of shit. It can really get chaotic. So we're either too zoomed out, we're so focused on the future and we're not connecting the dots on how to get there, or we're so zoomed in, so focused on everything that's going on around us that it just clutters our mind. So this video is for you if you want to get unstuck, if you want to clear the clutter and feel present, grounded, clear, and know for a fact you're going to be kicking ass and making progress. Let's dive in. So here are the 3 actionable steps you can take today to start getting unstuck, as well as create a fresh start feeling for yourself. So the first one may not be so obvious, but it's fucking forgive yourself for your past mistakes. Dwelling on the past is like having an anchor that just drains your energy, or maybe it's like a tube that's just draining your energy. There's that saying, there's a reason why the rear view mirror is this big and the windshield is this big, because we're supposed to be focused on what's in front of us, not what's behind us. When we don't forgive ourselves, or maybe it's even forgiving other people, there's that saying, it's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die when it's with other people. Or for us, it just keeps us stuck in shame and self-doubt and resentment. And there's that shitty story you're telling yourself of like, oh, why is now going to be any different? Because in the past I did this, or I made this mistake, or I failed. Let that shit go. So my advice is to write down a couple of things you're holding on to. Talk yourself through it. Man, here's why I'm pissed off at myself. This is what I did or did not do that has me feeling like I can't forgive myself. And here's what I'm going to do to move forward, knowing that I can use that experience to give me the lessons and the insight to not let it happen again. The second thing, cancel unnecessary commitments. I was a chronic overcommitter, or in other words, a yes man. I would say yes to everything. And I was told, oh, if you just put yourself out there and really go for it, things will work out. You probably felt the same way. But the problem is that every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else. It's not just about committing yourself to that thing. It's about what is on the altar of sacrifice now that I have. And unless you're crystal clear, the whole point of today's video is to get unstuck, which means you're probably not very clear. You feel a little clouded, confused, chaotic, whatever, overwhelmed. When you overcommit yourself, you are basically saying this thing is now the priority. Well, there's 2 problems with that. Number 1, is it actually the priority, or did you just say yes because you felt bad or you thought you should? And number 2, what is now not getting taken care of because you've committed yourself to this thing? So when you say yes to like, oh, I'm going to go to this person's event, or I'm going to agree to this phone call or this meeting, you want to be very clear that it actually is aligned with what you're trying to make happen and doesn't spread you too thin. When you're overcommitted, you can't be on top of everything. There's that saying, I know I say a lot of fucking sayings, but you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And when you overcommit yourself, you're trying to do everything, you're going to spread yourself thin and be worth a shit, right? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to look at your calendar. You're going to look at your to-do list. and kind of take inventory of your obligations, and then you're going to slowly play that process of elimination. I like to call it addition by subtraction. What can go? What is on your calendar that doesn't belong? Where are you spending your time and with who that doesn't belong? What kind of tasks have you been like letting pile up over time that really don't matter? You're just pissed because you just didn't do them. Let all that shit go. Eliminate it and get very, very clear on what is actually important, and practice your sacred no, saying no to people. No, I'm good. I don't want to go to that thing. No, I'm not going to hop on a call with you. No, because I need to say yes to what's actually important, and we're going to get clear on what that is. And then the third thing is you want to just start fresh. So you almost just want to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, this was all the shit before. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to give myself permission to move forward. What do I actually need to do? So that starts with creating new priorities and new objectives, setting new goals, setting new milestones, right? Okay, I've got this big goal. How am I going to break that down and get there? What does that lead to me needing to do today? What can I do to be more aligned with where I want to go, who I want to be, the things I want to do? Get clear on those things. Take time to brainstorm. A little cheat code is if you're feeling unclear of like, well, what do I want or what do I need to do? Start with what's called an anti-vision. Write all the shit down you don't want, that you don't want to be doing. You don't want your life to look like in the future. And that's going to point you to the things you actually do want. And then to make all this simple, once you've gone through, you've forgiven yourself from past mistakes, you've canceled all those unnecessary commitments or obligations that were sucking your energy. You've gotten rid of things on your calendar and your to-do list that don't belong there. And you've began to create this new direction. Okay, what are my new goals, or what are the goals I'm recommitting to? What are the milestones to get there? What kind of tasks do I need to be doing? That might create some overwhelm because you're like, oh shit, there's all this stuff to do now. So here's what you're going to do to make this so simple so you can't lose. You're going to ask yourself a question. What are the 3 things I can do today that if I did them would put me on track towards these things that I've said were important to me now, and I could consider today to be successful if completed? So those 3 things is what I like to call a get shit done list. It's the top 3 priorities that we work on each day, that if we take care of those things, we can let go of everything else because we would be moving the needle. We'd be making progress. We would know that we had a successful day because we executed and showed up with our plan, took action, made it happen. I remember for years, I was constantly feeling like I was spinning my wheels. I was overwhelmed. I was overcommitted. And I was under executing. That's the problem. I felt so busy. I felt like I had so much going on, but when it actually came time to take inventory and track the points on the scoreboard, I wasn't hitting my goals. I was super clear on what I wanted. I had the vision board, I had the goal set, I had all those things. And you might relate. It's like if I asked you, what the fuck do you want? You'd be like, oh man, I want to build this business, or I want to get this career going. I want to have a family. I want to make some money. I want to do all these different things. But then when it actually comes time to say, okay, are you doing it though? Like, can you say you've actually made the money that you want to make? Have you built the body you want to build? Have you done these other things? And although I had done some of those things in the past over a long span of time, I constantly felt overwhelmed because I was overcommitted and I was under executing. It wasn't until I learned about this topic called essentialism, where it's like, hey, go through and just eliminate all the things that aren't necessary. One of my mentors taught me addition by subtraction. I began to look at all the different things I was doing, all the different ideas I was trying to execute on, all the people I was trying to please, all these different things. And I was like, okay, no, cut fucking 90% of those things out. What is actually important? What's going to move the needle forward? What is the one thing I can focus on that's going to make everything else easier by default? And now over the last couple of years of experimenting with this, everything has changed. I feel more productive than ever. I actually can tell you that I'm hitting my goals and kicking ass and taking names every day. Is it perfect? Fuck no. But I tell you what, it's a million times better than it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when although I felt like I was crushing it based on I was making good money and different things, I was miserable. I was like fucked up internally, overwhelmed, coping with a bunch of dysfunctional shit and feeling chaotic all the time. At least now there's a sense of controlled chaos. And although I'm driven and I'm working towards my goals like I was in the past, it doesn't feel like every day is like this murky water that I'm trying to swim through. It's crystal clear, it's easy, it's simple, and it's executable. And to tie in today's lesson, you first want to forgive yourself and other people and let go of all the shit in the past that's been eating your lunch and keeping you stuck there. The second thing is you want to go through and eliminate all the things that aren't serving you, the tasks, the commitments, obligations, projects, ideas, all the noise, cut it out. And then lastly, you want to start fresh by writing down where you're headed, how you think you're going to get there, and then breaking it down to the simplest 3 next actions you can take to get you there. And if you want help with this whole process, you can look down below. I've attached my free daily planner and goal tracker where I've put all the lessons I've learned to help me do this into a simple guided format so you can do the same for yourself. You'll find the link in the description below, and when you sign up for that, you'll also be getting my newsletter every week where in less than 10 minutes, I will help you to become more happy, healthy, and productive with quick executable strategies and wisdom to help you out. If this video resonated, please subscribe. More awesome tips like this on the way, and maybe comment down below what had you feeling stuck and how you plan to use what you learned here today. Till next time, much love. I'll see you in the next video.